Hey guys, Jonathan here, and LEGO Marvel Avengers Mission Demolition dropped on Disney Plus, and of course I'm here to show you how to make as many of the characters as possible in LEGO custom form. Now, full disclosure, I actually left for vacation. It feels great to be on vacation, but I didn't really have a ton of time to put this video together, so I woke up at 3 a.m. on Friday to put this together beforehand, and now I'm going to do voiceovers over the footage a little bit later. That being said, let's get into it. I cannot believe that the corn and popcorn guy is how this movie started off. It's absolutely insane to see CMFs right off the bat, so we're going to use the corn and popcorn guy here. Captain America is basically the same minifigure we got from the Age of Ultron, but he does have blue and brown boots in this, so I went ahead and used the legs from Captain Carter from the LEGO Marvel CMF. Black Widow, interestingly, gets a downgrade. In the sets recently, she has leg printing, but here she just has regular black, so of course we're just going to put regular black legs on there. Speaking of which, we'll do the exact same thing for Thor, once again kind of getting a downgrade from being able to upgrade him, but that being said, Hulk, we don't really have a version that looks quite like the movie, so the 4 Plus version from 2020 is our best option here. Black Panther is also pretty similar to the Black Panther that came in the 4 Plus Wakanda Forever set. Kind of got a 4 Plus theme going on here, so we'll just go ahead and use him. And for Iron Man, we're going to use the new Age of Ultron Iron Man. So crazy, the random costumes that they chose for everybody, and believe me, we're just getting started. Now we've got our first true heavy-duty custom, which is Vision, who played a surprisingly big role in this movie, even if it was just his head for most of it. Speaking of his head, that comes from Avengers Tower. The torso is Iron Fist flipped around. The arms come from the CMF pizza delivery guy. That gets you the green and yellow arms. Then the legs come from the LEGO Fun at the Beach pack from LEGO City with some yellow hips and Robin's cape from the LEGO Batman movie. Now at the beginning, we meet the Frightful Four. Well, there's really only 3 of them, but we do meet them, and unfortunately, I just didn't feel like I had time to put together very good customs of these, so I did gloss over them. But of course, if you guys want to leave some comments down below with suggestions on how to make them, you can do that. And also, if you really want me to make them, I guess I could do a separate video. The comments will decide. Moving on through the movie, we've got Tony in the pizza outfit from the demolition scene. Just kind of something funny here, and the pizza costume is from the CMF series, of course. Then we, of course, get Dennis, and he's a little bit tricky to make exactly as we see him on screen, but using the torso and legs from the CMF janitor with Ray Stantz head from Ghostbusters and some regular hair like you see here does the trick just well. Dennis is walking down the street where we meet Iceman. Now, I do realize that Iceman comes in the new X-Men Mansion, and I was very lucky to have LEGO send me that early to review, so I can use that Iceman here. He does have shorts on in this, though, so I went ahead and used these black and white dual-molded legs, which came in the Daily Bugle on Black Cat, as well as the Punisher. We also see the Invisible Woman, who, of course, doesn't really have a minifig, so we've got this Drax minifig standing in her place. We also see Ghost Rider, which is the most recent version of Ghost Rider from the sets not so long ago, so that's the version we're going to use here. Interestingly, we see Frank Castle. This is the first time he's ever shown up in any LEGO media as far as movies are concerned, and interestingly, they didn't put the skull on his chest. Gee, I wonder why. Anyways, to get as close as we can, I'm just going to flip around the torso from the Punisher from the Daily Bugle and put on some tan arms as you see here, and it looks basically like what we see in the movie. Crazy enough, we get Ghost Spider in this, aka Spider-Gwen. I couldn't believe when she showed up because Spider-Man has not shown up in any of these LEGO Marvel movies alongside the Avengers in a long, long time, so it was really cool to see her show up and kind of opens the door for future Spider-Man characters in movies like this. We also see The Thing. And of course, you guys remember in the movie, he's a big fig. Well, there's no way to make a custom of that, so this is the custom thing that I made at minifig scale, where I used a Sharpie to draw on this orange torso with these dual-molded legs from either Deathstroke or from the Hobgoblin, where he's standing on 1x1 studs to make him slightly taller, and then of course he's got this head. I cannot remember the Ninjago character. It's from the Energy series, but seriously, I cannot remember. I'm sure someone in the comments will remind me. Hey, I'm on vacation. Cut me some slack. Anyways, up next we've got Gambit, who once again, like Iceman, does appear in the X-Men Mansion, which is quite cool, and of course I just used the minifig from here because, well, that makes the most sense. She-Hulk appears in her CMF form, so it just makes sense to go ahead and use that. It's a great minifig nonetheless, so no reason to upgrade it. It looks great in the movie and looks great here. Now we have Rocket and Groot. This is fascinating because the Groot they used is the 2017 Baby Groot, but the Rocket they used is the 2023 Volume 3 version. I would love to talk to somebody who is on the design team for these movies, how they pick the costumes they do, but regardless, Rocket and Groot are here. Next up is Terry, and we'll see who he becomes in a minute. Of course, I would recommend using the same torso and legs from the CMF janitor from Dennis, but if you're anything like me, I only have one of that CMF of Dennis, so an alternate here is using this torso from LEGO City Police with matching arms and legs. Now, of course, Terry becomes Terrax, and at first I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to make him in minifig form? And then I put the pieces together, and while he's not a big fig like we see in the movie, I'm very happy with the way he turned out. I did have to break the purist method by drawing on a white beard to give him the black beard here, but beyond that, he's got the head from Ebony Maw from the Sanctum Sanctorum modular set. Then, of course, he's got matching gray arms with red hands, the flipped-around torso from the CMF Wildlife Photographer, a Batman belt to add just a little bit of dexterity to the build here, and, of course, he does have a yellow belt, and he's got these dual-molded legs with red boots and gray pants. Crazy enough, Tom Brady shows up in this movie. Yeah, that was not on my bingo sheet for this movie, but here he is, and he has a number 12 jersey on, fittingly, which is exactly lifted from the number 12 football player from the CMF series. Man, one thing's for sure for these Marvel showcases, you sure do have to have a lot of CMFs to make them. Anyways, what I used here is just one of these regular heads. I don't exactly remember where it's from. I think it's from Lex Luthor, if I'm not mistaken, with some spiky black hair and blue legs. Then we get Demolition Man in his homemade suit from Avengers Con. This was a little tricky to put together, and you'll see in a minute why it was tricky, but the helmet here, of course, comes from Wolverine. You could break the purist method and color it in with paint pens or something, but you guys already heard the story, how strapped on time I was, so I didn't do that here. The head underneath I used from Robin from the LEGO Batman movie. The torso comes from Daredevil. You'll see in a minute that you need 2 Daredevils for this, so I'm very fortunate I had multiple Daredevils to draw from here, but you'll have to decide if you want Demolition Man or Daredevil in your lineup. Of course, he's got yellow arms, the matching hands here, a dark red cape, and these dual-molded legs from Catman from the LEGO Batman movie CMF. Now, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur show up in this, which is absolutely crazy. And again, being limited on time, I have no way to make Devil Dinosaur in like an hour. So I might have to do like a part 2 where I go back and make a couple characters here that I've explained that I can't make. And the same would be true for Dazzler. I really don't know what I would use for that torso, let alone the hairpiece. So if you guys have suggestions, let me know. And like I said, maybe there will be a part 2. Now, we do get several characters that aren't Avengers. In my Easter egg / prediction video, I was thinking that it was just the Avengers that got, trapped in Avengers Tower based on what we saw. Well, of course, now we know it was Galactus the Vacuum. Again, not on my bingo card for this movie, but it had nothing to do with the fact that these characters are Avengers or not. That being said, we've got Daredevil here from the Daily Bugle. We've got Sam Wilson, Captain America, from the LEGO Marvel CMF Series 1. Wolverine from the Marvel CMF Series 2, Moon Knight from the LEGO Marvel CMF Series 2, and unbelievably, just randomly showing up out of nowhere is Storm. But not the Storm from any of the recent iterations, the one from the 2014 set. Again, how do they decide what designs they're going to go with here? I truly do not know. It's absolutely crazy. Now, we do get a new suit for Demolition Man at the end, which is quite awesome. I do think it looks really, really good here, and basically what I used is that same head and hair combo from before with the flipped around torso from Wolverine from 2014 with the matching legs, hands, and the hip piece that all work great. Now, in the credits, we see Deadpool. This is the first time Deadpool has shown up in any LEGO media in years and years, and I could not believe it. Now, the head is actually borrowing from the design for the San Diego Comic-Con Sheriff Deadpool, but I know so few people watching this video are going to have that, so I just suggest using the actual 2012 Deadpool. Is this figure expensive? Yes. Does it go for over $100 routinely these days? Also yes, but it's a lot cheaper than paying $2,000 for Sheriff Deadpool like he is now, not to mention you would still need a Deadpool torso and legs, So the simplest way to do this is to use the official figure. That being said, we're going to bring this video to a close. This is definitely a different way to do a showcase. I usually film each clip one by one. This time I did voiceovers, so I'd love to hear what you guys think. Be sure to hit like and subscribe. And if you want a part 2 to this where I make those few characters that I didn't have time for here, let me know and I will be happy to do that after vacation mode. So let me know what you guys think. See you guys soon, and until next time, build on.